Hello and welcome to Lemon Drops Gaming for our weekly Yu-Gi-Oh video. This week is a discussion on cards that I love and discussion on cards I hate. Just to make some clarifications, just because I hate a card doesn't mean it's bad. Quite the opposite. They're so good that when I face them, I hate them. And the cards I love are not always the best cards, but underrated cards that make other decks better. I usually play unusual decks for two reasons. One, there's not as much challenge in running the meta decks, and when you lose, you start losing confidence in the game and you just start not having fun. So when I'm running the meta and I make mistakes and I lose, it's just no fun for me. So I try to run unusual decks. And number two, it keeps it interesting for me. I'm always looking for something new, something to challenge the meta without using floodgates. So here we go on to love-hate. The first card I bring up is a card that I absolutely hate, and that is Sinister Shadow Games. I really hate this card. There is a pit in hell designated for this card, and it needs to burn there. It speeds up a usually slow Shaddoll deck that I can outpace with nearly any other deck and keep at bay as long as this card doesn't appear. I've played multiple games against Shaddolls, and every game I've played where Sinister Shadow Game has gone off, I have lost that game. And every game except for one where it wasn't played or I was able to wiretap it, I've won. I think that the OCG have the right idea by putting it at 1, and I wouldn't cry if it was banned completely. Even if I'm running Shaddolls, I would not cry if it was banned completely. The card seems to work seamlessly with the Shaddoll deck. By that I mean it usually has the freedom to go off, because Shaddoll Dragon has gone off to clear some of my back row and usually my wiretap, and I find myself without wiretap being available. So to use Sinister Shadow Game, I hope you find a nice warm campfire and get dropped in. What does Sinister Shadow Game do? Sinister Shadow Game reads as such. Activate this card by targeting one warrior monster, wrong one. Send one Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can change any number of face-down defense Shaddoll monsters you control to face-up defense position. So on your turn, or on your opponent's turn, you can send a Shaddoll monster to the grave, get its effect, and then get the flip effect of a Shaddoll monster that's on the field, or all the Shaddoll monsters on the field. This sucks, because essentially it's enough to clear out enough back row or clear off monsters to make the slower Shaddoll deck work. So once again, I hope there's a nice warm campfire for you, Sinister Shadow Game. Card number 2. Here's a card that I love, and the card is Battleguard Rage. Allow me to read this. Battleguard Rage. Activate this card by targeting one warrior monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack. Monsters destroyed by battle with it are returned to the hand instead of going to the graveyard. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. Okay, I know that everybody in Yu-Gi-Oh! Prefers Battleguard Howling over this card, but I found that Battleguard Rage is better for the current meta for the following reasons. Number 1, it's faster. I can flip it with my opponent's draw. I do this a lot when I have wiretap on board already against Shaddolls, and now they see that card and they want to get rid of that one, and it allows me to use my wiretap against the dreaded Sinister Shadow game. And if I have this card on board, I generally am able to get rid of the Shadow games because I have the wiretap down also. Number 2, it will bounce your own card back to your hand so you can get its effect again. If they're able to get over the extra 1,000. And when I say that, I want you to think of Deneb. Deneb is at 1,500, and when it attacks, if you use the Sinister Shadow game, or Battle Guard Rage, you can get an extra 1,000, so it's at 2,500. And if they have Shaddoll Construct, it's at 28. It'll win, but Shaddoll Construct goes back to hand, and Deneb, or Shaddoll doesn't go back to hand, Deneb comes back to hand, so I can get its effect off again. So that way I'm getting off, I can get both Vega and Altair to hand instead of just having Altair. It hurts most of the meta decks right now. Shaddoll Fusion monsters do not get their effect of bringing the Shaddoll Fusion card back to hand and negating, as I said, like if you're able to get Construct, you bounce that back, or you bounce Winda back. They're not getting their Fusion back, hence you're sitting in a better place, and they've lost that monster because it returns to their extra deck. Burning Abyss monsters, if they're on the field, you return them to hand. They don't get the graveyard effects because they're going back to hand. And number 4, it's an ongoing effect, so that you can return multiple cards in multiple turns, which makes it really nice. So they set their stupid cards again, the Burning Abyss guys do. You bounce it back to hand over and over and over again while you let your other monsters wreak havoc on their life points, and they never get off their effects. It increases the attack points of our monster. This is number 5, number 5. It increases the attack points of our monster. This means when they have a Pleiades out and he hasn't bounced your initial warrior back to hand, you can attack. Then during the damage step, when Pleiades cannot activate, you can activate this card because it increases the life points. And that makes it able to get over Pleiades, sends Pleiades back to hand, and Pleiades goes bye-bye. And not just that, but it also makes it so that way, once that happens once or twice to their guys, they're going to start blind MSTing things, and that brings more advantage to you. So this is more than a one-for-one. This card, because it's ongoing effect, because it's fast, because it bounces your own card back, because any card destroyed by battle or destroyed by battle will bounce back. Because of all these reasons, I think Battle Guard Rage is better than Battle Guard Howling. I do agree the targeting effect of Battle Guard Howling is wonderful, but it doesn't stop traps or spells, and it's a one-time card. So, because of the 5 reasons I listed, I think that Battle Guard Rage is just a little better. Does this mean that Battle Guard Rage makes it into all my warrior decks? No, it doesn't. It's one of the last few trap cards I'll add to my decks, but I do love making people read cards and catching them off guard with cards that they usually don't see. And I feel this card is good enough to make your warrior deck without hurting it and without being too much of a dead draw. Yes, it can be a dead draw if you have no monsters on the field, but then again, all traps can be dead draws. I mean, the best ones in the game, like Solemn Warning, is a dead draw when you don't have 2,000 life points. There are cards like Compulse that will never be a dead draw. But there are other cards that trap cards that can be a dead draw that are great in the game. Like um, like Black Horn of Heaven can be a dead draw because they're not special summoning in a means that you can use in a means that you can use Max C. Then there's special summoning and you can't use Blackhorn. That is the rule of thumb on Blackhorn. So is Blackhorn a great card? Yes, it is a great card, but it can be a dead draw. And as I said, this is usually more than a 1-for-1, which is the standard traps right now. Most traps, it goes off, you return one card to the hand, and this is fast enough and consistent enough that I've always gotten more than 1-for-1 on it. Usually I bounce a monster back, and then they have to use a card to get rid of it. And because of that, it's just about always more than 1-for-1, but it's nearly always a perfect 1-for-1 at very least. Thank you for viewing this video. Please leave comments below, and if you like this video, please click like. Also subscribe to Lemon Drop Gaming's. This is Leon, and I'm signing out. Thank you very much.